Having a wide and expanded reading palette is something I've always tried to do since I started reading in my younger, more carefree years. And one day, as I was scrolling on TikTok, this was like a year or two ago, I saw a TikTok of a girl describing how her and her best friend send each other books that they enjoyed, and then, just like being able to like share the experience of books you enjoy with your friends. And I was just like, I enjoy reading, and I have friends, at least three, four, who enjoy reading, and this seems like a wonderful thing to do. Like, we all enjoy reading different types of books, so I just reached out to them separately, and I reached out to a friend group, and I reached out to another friend of mine who really enjoys reading, and I was just like, okay, let's start a book exchange. How do you guys feel about a book exchange? You send me a book, I send you a book. We can do it at whatever cadence you're good with. If you want to have it be once every month or once every other month or once every quarter, I'm fine with whatever we go with. So to my friend group, there's four of us in that friend group, but one of us wasn't reading that much before, but now she started reading, so she's about to join our book exchange. But the three of us were decided to set up a book exchange and would send books to each other every quarter. Have we stuck to sending books to each other every quarter? Not quite, but the books we have sent to each other has really expanded my reading palette and enriching my life. And for my other friend who enjoys reading as well, who is not a part of my friend group, we decided to send books to each other every other month. So we would both read the books she sent one month, and then we would both read the books I sent the other month, and then once we're done with that, we move on to the next month and exchange books again. And one thing that really made this book exchange really fun was the fact that we also sent like knickknacks, fun or bookish gifts to each other while exchanging books. Actually, let me go grab a purse very quickly. I have one that I've been faithfully using. So one of my friends in the friend group sent me this purse that has like bookish items, and now this is just like where I keep my bookish items. She gave me like a notepad, a few highlighters and bookmarks, and since then I've just put like my own bookmarks in there, as well as some highlighters and other knickknacks I get from other friends. So I just think, it's a way that we've gotten to know each other's reading personalities more. Since we started this book exchange, we started sometime in 2023. Since we started, we've sent 15 books to each other. I've sent 9 books and I've received 6 books. I think this is a good estimate. I might be missing a few books, so if any of my friends do end up watching this and I missed a book, please reach out to me so that I might correct myself. But I think this is an accurate representation of all the books I've received so far. And with that, I'm going to say welcome to Based on Faith, where I talk about books based on my faith in Christ. I'm going to be going over the books we sent and my thoughts on them in no particular order. So this is not in the order I received them or in the order I enjoyed them. It's just a very random order. And the first one is Brandon Sanderson's Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I've talked about this a lot. This was one of my top reads of 2024. It was just a wonderful book. I received this from Kay, and she sent this to me because she really loved the cover. And I just have to say, like, the story was a very beautiful story. And because of this story, I got into like the Cosmere universe, and I decided to read Trace of the Emerald Sea, and I'm currently reading I started reading sometime in November. I haven't picked it up since then, but I plan to finish it in 2025. I'm currently reading The Sunlit Man, and I think maybe this is the year I get into the Brandon Sanderson universe, because his universe is quite vast, and I'm a working 9-to-5 lady, so I barely have the time, but I'll see. Who knows? Sometimes when you just enjoy a book, you just get into it and you can't put it down. And the next one is going to be The Peasant King. The Peasant King is one I sent to Kay. I think I sent it early 2024. I sent it to her because I know she enjoys Tessa Afshar books, and I was at Barnes & Noble. I saw this book and I was like, this looks interesting. Let's send it to her. I actually have a review of this in my channel, so if you want to watch my full thoughts on it, I'm going to link it up here. God help me remember to actually link it up here, because I always say I'll link it up here and I almost never do. Life, work. The story is one of Gemma and a quest to save her mother who was kidnapped. It's a biblical historical fiction, and it was just really well written. And when I finished reading this, I decided to read the prequel to this, which was The Hidden Prince, and that was also well written as well. I think I prefer The Peasant King to The Hidden Prince, but they were both wonderful books. This story is the story of Gemma's romance with Asher. I go into it in my detail, but The Hidden Prince is the story of Gemma's mom's romance with her father, and it's a very good book. I honestly should have done a review of it already. I planned to do a review of it and I just never got around to it. Ugh, ridiculous. The next one is Die For Me. I sent this to T. Die For Me is a young adult fantasy, and it's a book I really enjoyed. I read it when I was younger and it just stuck with me, and I've reread it since then so many times, and I'm just excited I have a copy of it on my in my library now. I got this from Thrift Books, and I got the other two copies from Thrift Books, so I sent a separate copy to see, and I asked her, do you want me to send the other two copies to you? And she was like, no, it was okay, but I don't want to read the rest of the books in this series. And I'm just like, ugh. But well, that's the whole point of the experiment. You know, we try new books, and if we don't enjoy them, we don't enjoy them, and if we do enjoy them, yay, we've discovered that we enjoy new genres. Die For Me is, as I mentioned, a young adult fantasy book, and it's a bit Twilight-esque, but because it's about a romance between a young girl and revenants. What are revenants? Revenants are kind of like vampire cousins in a way. So they are vampires, but they're not quite vampires because they don't drink blood. They just live forever. So they eat like normal human beings. I don't know if it's the younger girl in me that is still in love with the story, but I read it when I was like 13 or 14, and I just think it's a wonderful book. It was a wonderful read for me, and it's sad that T did not get to enjoy it, but that's life. We move on. Maybe one of these days I'll send it to K, because I know she might like it. We are both fantasy folks. But yeah, the next book I sent is What the River Knows. What the River Knows is a young adult fantasy I sent to Kay. We both read it together. I gave it a 4-star read. She gave it 3 stars, and by the time I read the sequel, I understand why she gave it 4 stars. I was being generous with the author, but she did not take my generosity well. She took my generosity for granted. What the River Knows is the story of Inez Oliveira. She's a part of the upper society in the 19th century Buenos Aires, and apparently archaeologists in Egypt, and she's always wanted to go to Egypt with them because they talk about Egypt and they talk about how, you know, it's awesome, but then she receives word of both their deaths, and she goes there, and you know, that's how the story begins. They call it The Mummy Meets Death on the Nile, and I enjoyed both, so I was like, oh, I think I will enjoy this. And while I enjoyed the premise, I feel like so much was just going on, and it perhaps needed a few more things that I can't really put words to. But anyhow, that was What the River Knows. The next one is Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart is a book I received from O. O got me this. Things Fall Apart is a Nigerian historical fiction. It's the story of Okonkwo, a strong man of an Igbo village. So it's kind of like 2 stories in one. The first one is a fable of the conflict between individual and society that shows Okonkwo's fall from grace, and the second one is kind of like showing the coming of missionaries and the destruction of Okonkwo's world as the missionaries come into the native Igbo land. I think Things Fall Apart was a very wonderful story. I actually wanted to like make a video on it, like dedicate a video to it, because there were some Christian themes, and it was interesting how it showed how Christianity came with colonialism, or colonialism came with Christianity, and how it just affected the lives of the natives, the day-to-day of the natives, and all the brutality that came with, you know, Christianity coming into the native lands. It's a very wonderful story, like a very powerful story, and I really enjoyed reading it. And the next one I'm going to be talking about is As the Lemon Trees Grow. As the Lemon Trees Grow is one that Kay sent to me. It's an historical fiction that is centered around the war in Syria. It's kind of like modern day, and it's supposed to be perfect for like fans of The Book Thief and Salt to the Sea. Funny story, Kay and I never finished reading this because we got into it and we're just like, oh my gosh, it's such a heavy book. And I read heavy books, but it was just that I was not in the right mind space to read this. But I definitely look forward to reading it. I currently have a book I borrowed from the library. It's a comic book that talks about an immigrant's journey from Syria to Turkey. And as I was reading that, I was reminded of this, and it just helped me put this book in context more. So I'm definitely coming back to read this again. I'm going to post a picture of the comic book here somewhere. Actually, let me just go grab it. It's on my bed because I was reading it last night before I fell asleep. Let me go grab it very quickly. Okay, so here is the book. It's called Hakim's Odyssey by Fabian Tume. I hope I pronounced that right. So I'm currently reading it. It's the story of Hakim, the true story, it's not fiction by the way, the true story of Hakim, a young Syrian who leaves everything behind. His family, his friends, his business, his country, because war broke out, because he was tortured, because family and friends were disappeared, because anywhere had to be better than home, at least for now. A powerful and touching eyewitness account of what it means to be human in an inhumane world. So I'm currently reading this. I'm like 20 pages in, and it's putting As Lemon Trees Grow in so much context. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back to reading As Lemon Trees Grow. And the next book is Black Founder, The Hidden Power of Being an Outsider. I received this from T, and I think it's so wonderful that she wants me to become a Black founder. I don't quite have an idea yet on what I want to find, but I definitely will be reading it when, you know, that time comes. I will most definitely be reading it. It's I think it's an autobiography. Hold on. Actually, it's a biography, but it's the story of Stacey Pikes. He's one of the most influential Black professionals in technology, and is also currently one of Hollywood Reporter's 30 Under 30. He describes the story of how he disrupted the status quo and reinvented himself from a junior executive to CEO to tech founder. So in total, we ended up going over 7 books. 4 I received and 3 I sent. Here are the 4 I received. Here are the 3 I sent. I'm saying in total because this video is taking a bit longer than I expected it to take, and I think I might have to do a part 2 to go over the other books that I have exchanged with my friends in expanding my reading palette. So altogether we have 7 books that went back and forth amongst my friends and I guess we'll be closing out part 1 with this. If you've not yet, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I post new videos, and share this video with that friend you'd like to start a book exchange with. This has been a wonderful thing I started with my friends, and I don't see us stopping anytime soon. So here we go, the 7 books I discussed. Yes, I'm going to create another video detailing the other books that we've exchanged amongst ourselves, but this is what we have for now. All right, with that, I'm going to say thank you and see you in part 2 of this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.